Now we are done with the string basics, right? So I'll just simply say copy this thing, paste it here. Okay, now there's a thing that you should understand. What is the actual difference between when I say a character array and when I say a string? Okay, now when I am dealing with a character array, as we seen earlier, like okay, here, so when I did something like this, suppose I'll name it, suppose str1 of, suppose say 10 characters, and equal to, I'm giving some values over here in quotes. Okay, fine. So I'll suppose say do this thing, right? And I am giving something like this. Okay, okay, fine. So here the important thing to understand is, like, this will be considered as an array. This is called as a character array. And suppose say if I do something like this, I create another string, suppose say string 2 of the same thing, but then again I only kind of replace this with double quotes. This will be called as string, right? So now firstly you should understand what is the difference between these two, why this is called as a string and why this is called as an array. Okay, so just for a quick reference, if I just open this documentation, it's from tutorials point. You go to kind of any site you want to, just search it on Google, you will get a basic definition of what a string is. Okay, fine. Okay, it's a one-dimensional array. Okay, and that is terminated by a null character. Okay, so by default what happens is, whenever you are creating a character array, you are just creating these kind of characters in the system. You, when you add this special symbol at the end of this character array, that time we can consider this thing to be equivalent to a string. Okay, but by default at the further locations there might be some garbage values. Okay, so string, whenever we write this thing, what happens is automatically at the end of this kind of word, after this kind of character, automatically a /0 is appended. Fine. So a string is basically an array, one dimensional character array that has a /0 at the end. That is the basic definition. Okay, fine. So whenever we are writing that something in double quotes, automatically this /0 will be appended to it. Okay, now why this /0 is important, I'll just give you a quick example, and let me show you. Okay, fine. So if I just say go to the program again. Okay, so now we have these two things, right? Okay, now instead of this thing, what I'll simply say is, I don't want to accept anything from the user. Let's not take this also into consideration. What I'll say is, I'll simply print the values. Okay, I'll print the value of and then again percentage. You know, percentage was used to be did it last time only, right? In the last what is in the last video itself. Okay, so yeah, so if I say %s and I'll say just print the string 1, suppose. Okay, fine, and I'll do the same, just print the percentage and print the string 2. Let's do something like this. Let's say /n str1 equal to this, and I'll copy it and paste it for string 2. Okay, fine. So these are on different lines. Okay, now if I try to compile it, okay, get string difference. Yeah. Okay, so when we run this thing now, so you can see there is these things going on over here. Okay, now let's put a thing. What I'll say is, I'll just put a /0 in between these two. Okay, fine. In this, inside this string, I put a /0 in between these two things. Okay, now when I try to compile it, there is 0 warnings, and now when I try to run it, now you can see the output. Okay, so as soon as it encountered a /0, the string was ended. Okay, fine. So that's the importance of your /0. Even here also, suppose say if I just put a /0 over here somewhere. Okay, after r, maybe suppose I'll put a /0. Okay, and that should be in quotes. Okay, I'll put a /0 and I'll say, and I'll do this thing. Okay, fine. I try to compile it and I try to run it. Okay, so now also you can see after the r, nothing got printed. Okay, so this is kind of the importance of the /0 which is there. That /0 indicates end of string. Okay, just understand this much. Whenever you find out a slash 0, that means the string which is there, that has ended at that point. So whenever the system is trying to save also, it will save only till the slash 0. After that, these values are discarded from the system. Similarly, these two kind of characters are discarded from the system.